Shai again, sizing up Murphy. Drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked. What a rejection by Holmgren. Standing tall like a wall.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Uncontested Weekly Show, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and proudly sponsored by Prairie Artisan Ales. I'm your host on this Wednesday evening, JD Silva, joined by Taylor Peterson.
Silva, I am here. Shout out to my dad who came down yesterday, helped me out on parenting duties, and he found this little piece, this little silver piece right here for those watching the stream.
It's crucial.
That puts my mic stand back together after I had my mic stand explode on me trying to do the podcast at my parents over Thanksgiving. So I have a mic stand again until my new and improved mic stand gets here Saturday.
We're held together by duct tape and popsicle sticks because I was having technical issues before this. You had your camera fall on the Sunday show.
Straight out of our mom's basement, right?
We're doing our best here. We're doing our best. You can see my Christmas tree over here now.
That looks great. Improvements.
Yeah. Making improvements. Before we get into this show fully, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating. If you got your Spotify Wrapped and we're in your top listens, DM us. That'd be awesome to see. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, sometimes Facebook, sometimes TikTok. We also have a Patreon. You can see the QR code to join that up here above me. It's also going to be in the description of all our videos, things of that nature. It's also patreon.com/uncontested. You get some sweet stickers. I really need to get that because that is so cool. Justin did a great job with that. Patreon's a ton of fun. $3 gets you into our Discord, get you some exclusive content as well. You can pay a little bit more and get some additional exclusive content. We had a really fun watch along for the Rockets game last Sunday. Was that Sunday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
this week's going by.
Have a lot of fun in there. Talking some mess about the Lakers tonight for getting blown out by the Heat.
Love it.
Having a lot of fun. Bo Spring in the chat says JD is radiating holiday cheer. In part because the coffee I'm currently drinking at 9:07 p.m.
Ah, there you go. I like it.
Yes. We got emo Jacob Niffin's hair looking very festive.
He is very festive.
Very festive.
Another reason you guys need to and gals need to join the Discord or join the Patreon to get access to the Discord, because emo Jacob Niffin's hair has just been on a tear with his different Jacob Avies, I guess is what you would say. And they've been great.
Yes, he's on. I always enjoy Smoot and emo Jacob Niffin's hair in the chatting and doing some mild shit posting as well.
Great stuff.
Small talk segment this time. I started working out pretty regularly again, and dude, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. Like, I've been going to bed at 10 o'clock every night, basically.
That's good though. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It really is hard to get back into.
I can't stay awake.
Yep.
I'm just like, I don't want to play video games. I don't want to do anything. But I feel great during the day. But it's like, you've paid your due, buddy. It's time to go to bed.
I feel that. I feel that completely. It's like, it feels like, especially on nights we're doing the podcast, you have like an hour after, especially for me having a son. It's like, put your son to bed and he goes to sleep. You get him situated. It's like you have like an hour or two of you time before it's time to go to bed. So that's either watching basketball or watching football or just catching up on a TV show or whatever it may be. And you're right. It's hard to find the time, but it's worth it. Investing in yourself like that and getting back in the gym.
Yes. Feels good. Taking some insane pre-workout. Pre-workout names are insane, by the way. I forgot.
They've gotten crazy.
Mine's like lit. Mine's called like lit something.
Yeah.
Like, great. That's awesome.
I forgot what mine is right now. There's a local place here in Norman. Actually, after the podcast, so I'll have to send it to you. Anyways, it has some really good stuff. Kind of over in that shopping center with Target, all that. Anyways, got some new supplements here recently, which is always a good motivation, extra motivation to get back into the gym.
Little post-pod supplement
I
talk.
also want to get back on the court. That
Me too, it's been a long
Thunder
time.
Media pickup run. I was awful. My legs were shot, but it was a lot of fun, and I just want to get back in shape. Also,
I'm
like,
so washed.
kind of worried that my ligaments won't hold up and I'll
Dude,
tear
yeah.
an Achilles or pull an
That's why I didn't
Achilles.
go.
Yeah.
I always get injured somehow.
Yep.
And I know it's gonna be an Achilles or an ACL or something. I'm not trying to do that. Not right now. Let's talk some basketball. Didn't do a post game last night, obviously, because it was right before our Wednesday show. Thunder played an NBA Emirates Cup game. Beat the Utah Jazz 133-106. There were a lot of
Smooth's the best.
there were a lot of possibilities as far as how the Thunder could advance in the Cup game. They all kind of confused me to understand all at the same time. So I did what I know how to do best, and that's just refresh my Twitter feed or my Blue Sky feed until someone told me what was happening. And I know they eked out the right outcome, and we're gonna have a stressful next week. But to talk about the game last night, one of the few blowouts they've had in this young season, 133-106 against the Jazz. The Jazz stink, obviously, but we saw some fun stuff from this game, I thought.
Agreed. Just a pretty dominant performance from the Thunder. Like you mentioned, in regard to the Emirates NBA Cup, the Thunder needed a blowout win against the Jazz for point differential. You know, we knew that going into the game, and so I honestly didn't expect it. And yet, like you said, there they were. They ended up blowing out the Jazz due to some insane defense. A lot of things we'll break down in more detail. But overall, just outside of the NBA Cup in general, a really dominating performance. And it was great to see the Thunder kind of get back to that after they were on that road trip, playing some really close games, just kind of seeming like they weren't able to put teams away when they should. Last night was not one of those nights, and it was really, really impressive.
It was nice to not have such a close game, like just to be able to.
I read that comment.
The comments are insane.
Trav.
The comments are insane. It was nice to just be able to. Now, it started out a little dicey. The Jazz actually jumped out ahead, and I was like, oh, no, is this going to be one of these games? Are we going to get dominated by Walker Kessler and whoever else? No, that was not the case at all. Thunder played great. SGA and J-Dub did their thing that they usually do. Isaiah Joe was a standout to me, had a pretty sweet dunk. I think he only made like 2 non-3-pointers in that game, and one of them was an awesome dunk. He gives us about one of those a year. We got ours this year. Ton of fun. Probably the best SGA pass that I've seen in a long time, maybe ever. He like faked it to someone with one hand, like faked it to a guy in the corner, then passed it to.
Was it Cason cutting baseline?
Someone, Andro said, reminded me. They say, please talk about that awesome misdirection wraparound pass by SGA to Cason. Where the F did that come from? Don't know. It looked like an accident at first.
It was like, gorgeous.
Yes.
Not only that, I believe this was also. I can't remember if this was during the flurry the Thunder had in the third quarter or if it was in the first half. But Shai had this misdirection in the middle of the lane where he just basically faked out like 4 of the Jazz's defenders to be able to get off a mid-range jumper that was just absolutely perfect. Not to mention his lob to J-Dub, which we can get into. That was gorgeous as well. Shai just had a great game all around, as did a lot of players. But you're right. Those were some of the standout plays there from the game for sure. Silva, one thing you mentioned, and I kind of alluded to this when we started talking about this game, but I mentioned, us, if you care about the NBA Cup, the Thunder needed to win this game by quite a few points for the point differential purposes. And because of that, I didn't think they were going to. And that first half just kind of confirmed that to me. The Thunder created, I think, Utah had 12 turnovers in less than 16 minutes. I don't have the stats pulled up in front of me right now, but I can't remember. I can't remember how many turnovers they ended up having at halftime. And still, the Thunder were only up by like 11. I'm thinking, oh no, they're playing with their food. They're letting Utah hang around a little too much. Utah's coming out in the third quarter. They're going to give us a good punch. We'll eventually pull away, but we'll only win by 10 or 11. But the third quarter, Silva, was just like the highlight of the game. And the biggest thing for me, Shai and J-Dub. We'll get into them individually when we do our big takeaways. But I thought in general, that's the best we've seen them play in tandem. at least since last year. I mean, I understand there were some games where both of them like had 30 points. So maybe I shouldn't say this is the best they played in tandem ever. But in terms of like the overall impact, some of the passes that they were making, even outside of just scoring, and defensively, they absolutely took over the game in the third quarter. I think there was a point there where they scored all 16 of the Thunder's first third quarter points between J-Dub and Shai. There were some insane plays, and it was just really exciting to watch.
I feel like for a guy like J-Dub who is like still learning how to do this type of thing every single night, a game like this against, like, to be frank, a really bad Jazz team is helpful for that. Like, it's kind of like you can kind of go out there and know you're not going to be pushed to your absolute limit, and you can kind of operate at a normal level. Like, he finished a casual 12 of 18, because the Jazz just like don't have anyone that can really guard him like that. Like, the guy would probably be, maybe a Taylor Hendricks would be a good option for him, but he's obviously out for the whole year. It's tough, and I love to see that from J-Dub. He's just continuing. Actually, like, every day I keep looking up his averages for the season, hoping he'll get to 25 points per game in total. He's pretty close to that now. I think, let me see what his averages are.
It's pretty insane, and he's doing it on high efficiency too. Like you said, looking at his season as a whole, I think maybe we would like to see like those points per game, for example, to go up just a little bit. But what I love about, I mean, there's so many factors that go into that. There's the injuries, which leads to him playing small ball 5, which was a huge part of that. He still was playing fantastic and had an equally huge impact on the game, even when he wasn't scoring as much. But then there's just also everything else that he's doing. Like, I think about that play again. I've slept since then, but there was a play, and I want to say it was the third quarter as well, where J-Dub's driving to the rim, goes through 2 defenders, is able to kind of get to the rim, but is contested at the last minute, finds Shai for a beautiful wide open corner 3 that Shai drills. And I mean, he's just doing so much on that end of the floor, not to mention the defensive side as well. But we'll get into them when we talk about our big takeaways. Is there anything else just from the team as a whole? Anything from like the game breakdown, that anything else that stood out?
I thought Cason looked especially good. He's had an up and down season offensively, and I thought he was pretty good. Finished with 12 points on 5 of 9, and they didn't all come from the 3-point line. He finished 1 of 2 from 3, which is good because I feel like some nights he kind of just gets relegated, sometimes by his own accord, to just shooting threes, and that's it. So it was nice to see him do a little more.
I asked you for non-specific takeaways, Silva. Come on.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The fourth quarter, I guess the only other thing is
quarter.
We didn't play any of our starters, and they still upheld a pretty great point differential. AJ Mitchell was in there. Dylan Jones was in there doing things. Again, Dylan Jones continues to kind of be up and down, but I thought he had a decent game last night. And the Jazz brought their starters back in, Silva, and I'm not sure if that was to kind of try and spite the Thunder because they were getting their butts beat by the Thunder, and they didn't want them to get that great point differential. They did anyways. I don't know. Or maybe was it punishment like the broadcast was talking about for their starters because they were getting their butts beat. But regardless, I found that interesting. Shai and Dub did not play the entirety of the fourth quarter. And now that we start to get into some individual players from last night's game, keep that into consideration when we're talking about these absurd stats from guys like J-Dub, Shai, and you mentioned Cason as well.
I kind of wondered if the Thunder would keep their starters in for longer to really try and push for that like point differential they needed, but they didn't have to ultimately.
Mark was asked about that post game. He had a great quote. He basically said, "No, we're going to risk injury. What the league has done with this is absolutely ridiculous. It's counteractive to the best interest in the league and sportsmanship." Kind of went on a mini rant, and I honestly loved it.
Yeah, I said he was going to go home and hug his wife.
Not watching the other NBA Cup games. He could care less. Just take care of business that's in front of you.
And this is what a game like the Jazz should look like. You know, even if it wasn't a cup game, like this is kind of what the expectation should be. In the comments, Trav, thoughts on DJ's haircut?
Kind of makes him look like Giant Lou Dort.
It does. It does.
I liked it.
We've had different variations of Giant Lou Dort. We used to have Derek Favors, who looked like Giant Lou Dort.
Yep.
Now we have Dylan Jones, another Giant Lou Dort. Who's next?
Do you just keep drafting Lou Dorts? I mean, it's not a bad tactic.
Yes. I haven't read a ton about this myself, but I saw it on social media that Lou has had like a legitimate hand injury, which could explain his erratic shooting or lack of shooting.
So this is where I come into play with my expertise.
Please.
I did not realize this until actually this morning. I was listening back to podcasts. I think Andrew Schlecht, he was joking and kind of laughing because I think he was called out by Mark Daignault because that's the same injury that Andrew had last year when he was gardening. And Mark called him out about it. He was like, why do you have a splint on your hand? But anyways, this injury can be caused really due to like, especially in sports, like really bad jammed fingers, essentially. And I don't mean to flip off the camera here, but if you look at my two fingers, my left middle finger still kind of bends down.
Somebody screenshot that.
Yeah, that's right. We double flipping the double birds to the camera. When I was my freshman year, I was playing football. Shout out Jalen Lowe, good friend of mine. He was our quarterback. Threw like a dart and threw it down low. So I had to like kind of go down for it. Anyways, same thing happened to me. And it's the tendon. Basically, this tendon like comes off the bone. And just like Daignault mentioned, you basically have to keep it completely straight. So I was in a splint for, I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. And you're supposed to keep it completely straight. Even then, this finger still isn't completely straight, but I have full function of it. I think it's really good that it's not Dort's middle finger, especially since it's on his shooting hand and it's on his pinky.
Yeah.
But all of that being said, my irrelevant insight, disregarded. It makes a lot of sense.
Mallet finger.
There we go. Makes a lot of sense why Lou hasn't been shooting as well these past handful of games. Also why he struggled more offensively. And it's kind of resorted to some of the things we've seen more from him early on in his career.
Yeah, the chaos ball. We've gotten more of that. It's nice to know there's a reason why we're seeing all the chaos ball from Lou. Anything else on specific players?
We got to talk about Shai and J-Dub. I mean, we talked a lot about their third quarter, so we don't talk about that anymore. But Shai ends, I think he only had 10 or 11 at halftime because Isaiah Joe was playing really well off the bench. And we'll get into him. Ends up third quarter, he just dominated. Ends with 26 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 11 of 19 from the floor. Had 3 steals. That's what I was looking for. And then J-Dub, 28 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 12 of 18 from the floor. I really like seeing that shooting split there. J-Dub has 18 field goal attempts compared to Shai's 19. I really like seeing that. Doubling got to the line 4 times. We'll get into the free throw discrepancy. It's absurd.
I know.
He had 3 steals as well. I thought he had a block, but he didn't. Anyways, J-Dub and Shai were just incredible. Lost Silva. J-Dub and Shai, he's messing with the cord. You back? Nope. It's okay. J-Dub and Shai had incredible games on both ends of the floor. They really took over in the third. But one player that I mentioned there, and kind of a reason, I think, for Shai maybe not scoring quite as much, or a player that stepped up when Shai wasn't scoring as much in the first half there, was Isaiah Joe. We talked a lot about this over our past handful of post games that we've done, especially on that road trip. The Thunder weren't getting a lot of contributions off the bench. And when Isaiah Joe's not starting, you need him to be that player who's scoring for the Thunder. He does a lot of great things, even when he's not scoring the ball. That's why he continues to get minutes. That shouldn't change. But last night, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 7-11 from the floor. Uh-oh, I'm echoing. I think we're back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Excellent. Hopefully you're not echoing still.
Nope, no more echoes. We're good. Isaiah Joe was 7-11 from the floor. Silva, 5 of 9 from 3, which was just huge. Having Isaiah Joe's contributions when he's scoring the basketball like he is, especially from outside for this team, is just huge. They need that spark plug off the bench, and especially when Alex Caruso isn't playing. And I just thought he was great.
Yeah, they need him to be able to get shots in different ways, because we saw like he's very important to their offense ultimately. Like he's one of the, I know he's one of the few guys that can be like a quote unquote microwave scorer off the bench. Like we keep talking about how they kind of need that guy, and Isaiah Joe has that in him to some extent. But there are just games where he just kind of disappears because I think he's just trying to find like his perfect shot a lot of the times. So it's nice to see him do more and kind of stretch those muscles out a little bit. And he's showing he can do that. Like he's gotten better feels like every month he's been with the Thunder, he's gotten better and just added to his game and added to his game. And you get nights like tonight, 7 of 11. It's great.
I keep mentioning this, but Isaiah Joe is the most hot or cold shooter I think on this team. And like I said, he does so much more than and he's developed into such a better player than just being a scorer. Although the Thunder really need him to be a scorer off this bench, given the current construction of this team. And that's why he continues to get minutes when he's missing. But you have games like, the other night where he got that out of bounds play where he hits the three, but that was his only three of the night. He was like 1 of 11.
Yeah.
And that whole road stretch, he was struggling. And then last night, you had him 5 of 9 from three and just doing a little bit of everything. When he's on, he's on. An incredibly special player to have coming off your bench. I like him coming off the bench. Maybe we'll save this new starting lineup for Sunday's pod and to kind of see if Daigneault continues to ride with it. But I'm going to be honest, Silva, I'm a big fan. My only other player off the bench, Aaron Wiggins, has 16 points. He finally got it going as well. He kind of was going through similar scoring struggles, 6-11 from the floor, was doing a lot defensively, had a block and 3 steals as well. Like this team was just all over the place defensively. It was incredible. Probably takes me to my last takeaway. You can kind of jump in here wherever you want. But the Thunder ended up having, sorry, I had this. Now I got to scroll and find it. They set a Thunder record with 45 points off turnovers. They had 29 forced turnovers, which is a OKC Thunder franchise record. And they had a season high 18 steals, which I believe was only one short of the franchise record, which was like the Seattle Supersonics had 19 one year. That's insane. I don't care how bad the Jazz are. That's absurd.
It's absurd. And we know the Thunder love to live off of points off turnovers. Like that's a big way they make up for their like rebounding deficit. But this was just that idea tenfold. So many. I mean, the Jazz had 29 turnovers to end the game, and the Thunder would had like 8 total. It's absurd. It's like best case scenario for their game plan, I think. One last thing for me, it's pretty laughable, and it didn't matter in this game. You mentioned it briefly. The free throws, team free throws, Thunder had 11, Jazz 22. It's just more of the principle. It didn't matter in this game, obviously. They won by almost 30. Didn't matter. But the principle of it, why does this keep happening? Will it change? We'll wait and see. If it happens in a game we're about to discuss next Tuesday, that will piss me off.
That's what I just pulled up. I agree completely. Some of it can be, I think, like contributed to Thunder's style play. They do kick out a lot. They do try and avoid contact when they drive. Like J-Dub and Shai are so great in the mid-range. So when they're driving to the rim, maybe that counts as a drive, but then you get the pull up. So maybe there's not as much contact. The injuries for the Thunder, there's all kind of different, and also the personalities of Thunder players, which that's why we love them so much as a team, in comparison to some of, we've been talking in our Discord, Silva, about who are the biggest rivals for the Thunder. Teams like the Warriors, teams like the Rockets, teams like the Mavericks. Something they all have in common is they have players who are going to complain and flop and excuse my language, but bitch and moan every time they get to the rim and don't get a call. The Thunder don't do that. So maybe that's part of it as well.
Yeah. It's a little bit of everything, I think. Yeah.
They lead the league in drives, and they should be getting way more calls regardless. I just still don't quite understand it. Maybe this is a good transition into our next topic, but you brought up the Mavericks. Last night, they had 44 free throws. Memphis shot 14. And I think, this is off the top of my head, I had this somewhere, but they shot like 20-something in the fourth quarter. The Mavericks did. 24. So 24 of their 44 free throw attempts came in the fourth quarter last night against the Memphis Grizzlies in a very close game. That makes me a little worried about our potential matchup with the Mavericks on Tuesday for the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup.
That would just be unwatchable. 24 free throws in the fourth quarter. Like, what a drag that would be.
There's no pace of play.
There's no pace of play. And that was ruined for the Thunder and the Rockets game, I think, on both sides. Like, it just led to a poor quality product as far as like the TV watching experience. So I hope that doesn't happen. Let's get into it. We know the Thunder's NBA Cup matchup. We're getting a quote unquote game of consequence, middle of the season. Didn't happen last year. It's happening this year. The West quarterfinals are set. Thunder, Mavericks. Thunder the 1 seed, Mavericks the 4 seed. 8:30 Central Time next Tuesday. So it's gonna be a late one. It'll be on national TV, obviously on TNT. The old playoff demons are coming back without Chet.
Without Chet, but the Thunder are at home.
Yes.
So that was one nice thing about the results from last night. Not only did the Thunder, the things fall in their favor to even make it into to winning their group and therefore making it into the knockout round, but it also worked out to where they're now hosting a game. Instead of if Golden State would have won against Denver, we would be going out to the West Coast and playing Golden State there at the Chase Center. That's a positive. The other positive, like you mentioned, no Chet. That sucks, but guess what? We played them without Chet in a very close game here. What was that? 2 weeks ago? Time's flying by. Now we have Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yep.
So Hartenstein's back. We saw the Mavericks bigs absolutely destroy us. Having Hartenstein back in that lineup is going to be huge, no pun intended. But at the same time, they're also going to be able to have to figure out how to improve those minutes with him off the court, where you're going more small ball with like Kendrick Williams. And so I am curious to see how that kind of plays out.
You know what I'm curious about is if PJ Washington is going to become Jesus Christ on the basketball court again. There's so many like Murphy's Law, like all the worst things happen that could possibly happen. That happened in the Mavericks game last time. It just seems to happen against our rivals, which unfortunately for the Thunder, every team in the West bracket is a rival of the Thunder. You just named them off: the Mavericks, the Rockets, the Warriors. That's every team in the damn cup.
Not even this iteration of the Thunder. Literally the rivals of like, unless you want to include the grit and grind Memphis Grizzlies, like every rival since the Thunder arrived in OKC and became competitive. It's kind of crazy.
So, just maybe stay off social media or just be very on social media during these games because it's going to get a little toxic, I'm sure. I am feeling much better though about the game. I'm feeling pretty optimistic. It's like you said, it's at home. They have Isaiah Hartenstein, who I think is like their third best player right now. He's incredible. Not like every night he's incredible. Feeling pretty good about it. Feeling pretty dang good about it.
I'm excited. I'm really excited and fired up for it. Like I said, especially with it being in OKC. I understand it's a Tuesday night game in the middle of December, but I really hope Thunder fans show out. Look, I'm just about as annoyed about the NBA Cup as much as anyone. But that being said, this is a huge matchup, a huge game just in general. It's going to be on national television. So Thunder fans show out, be loud, make Loud City awesome. And I agree with you, Silva. I think it's going to be a really, really, really fun matchup.
And my soundboard was making my computer crash earlier, so I don't have it up right now. But let's recreate one. Taylor, if they win against the Mavericks, where will they go?
They will go to they will go to the semifinals. Took me a second there, which will be played in Vegas.
Be really cool. I don't know if the denizens of the Las Vegas area and surrounding suburbs will be super jazzed to see the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know like how many Thunder fans will be in the arena for that game, but I know I'll be standing in my living room with my shirt off, ready for whichever current and former rival is there in Vegas with them, whether it be the Rockets or the Warriors.
Might need a live stream of Silva watching the game. Maybe. Just a maybe.
That's a higher Patreon tier.
Yeah, that's right. Got to pay $10 a month for that one.
Yes.
Maybe, just maybe, we can swing it to where some of us can head down to good old Vegas for those couple of days. Yeah, it'd be a weekend, 14th through the 17th, and watch the Thunder. That'd be awesome.
That'd be insane. Hey, what the dog doing?
All the live sounders, acapellas is great.
Yes. You want to go through and just let's do predictions really quick. We have one more. Let's do predictions. We'll take a break, and then we'll do one more segment about this fun ESPN article. Predictions. I'm going to predict the Thunder. Call me a homer. I'm predicting the Thunder win against the Mavericks and move on.
I'm with you. Do not disagree.
Rockets, Warriors. Who you got in that one?
This one is tough. Tough. Give me the Rockets. I think they're going to do it. They're playing really well. Their defense is awesome. Steph can't do it all by himself, as the Warriors are starting to find out. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rockets.
I'm with you. Yeah, gotta. What's the old phrase? Don't gotta hand it to ISIS, but the Rockets are not to hand it to ISIS, but the Rockets are pretty good. Pretty good.
That can't be too old of a saying.
Can't be too old. Chat. I said the word chud on Sunday, and people were questioning whether that was a really bad word or not. So the chat is my checks and balances.
There have been much worse things said on this podcast.
Yes.
Much worse.
Yes. In the East, we have the Bucks versus the Bucks. Bucks were there last year too.
They were.
Magic, I assume, will not have Paolo by that point.
Correct. So he is going to be reevaluated per the Magic when they came out with his injury. He'll be reevaluated here anytime, probably here within the next week or two. But that's a reevaluation. I highly doubt he's available to play next week. So they will certainly be without Paolo, in my opinion.
The dreaded reevaluation. We know all about that. Yeah, with that being said, I'm picking the Bucks. They've been playing much better as of late. Their schedule's been lighter, but sometimes that's kind of all it takes to set your team back on track.
I agree with you. I mean, the Magic are playing really, really well without Paolo. It's been incredibly impressive. Franz Wagner will get into it when we talk about the 25 under 25 article here to round up the podcast. Their defense has been fantastic. They have a great brand of basketball, but ultimately, I agree. When the lights shine bright, I think Dame and Giannis are going to deliver. So I'm with you. Let's go with the Bucks here.
And on the other side, Knicks, Hawks. How the hell did the Hawks get in? Their group had the Celtics and the Cavs in it.
Insane.
Somehow the Hawks got in.
Because they're regular season basketball games. As much
True.
as the league and Adam Silver hopes that these are going to be played like playoff games and you're going to get the Celtics and the Cavaliers battling out for that last spot, it's not how it happens.
Yeah.
Spurs almost made it from our group, and we almost lost out. Like, they would have loved to have Wemby, obviously, but...
Yeah. Connor brings up a good point. He says every time somebody says the Bucks have been good or the Magic have been good, his mind just throws a massive Eastern Conference asterisk on anything they accomplish, which, yeah, makes sense. Well, I mean, we're talking about the Hawks, who some thought would be, like, tanking for Cooper Flag.
Right.
They've made it into the quarterfinals of this, so... John Spurrier in our chat says the Hawks are beating the Bucks tonight. So another,
ooh,
yeah.
I've been off the grid a little bit.
Yeah,
interesting.
And so let's say it's Thunder, Rockets, Bucks. Are you taking the Knicks? I'm taking the Knicks.
Yeah, let's go with the Knicks. That's more fun. Also, they've been playing pretty well here over the past week or so. Cat's been playing better. Had some insane passes last night. Give me the Knicks there. I'm good with that.
And then Thunder, Rockets. I assume that would be in OKC because they're the higher seed in this bracket. I'm picking Thunder there.
No. Silva, it's going to be in Vegas.
Oh, it's going to be in Vegas. You're right. I'm taking the Thunder because I'm a homer.
We have to.
It's revenge.
Yeah, revenge game. I like that as well.
Revenge
they're
game.
in Vegas. They're going to be excited. Spotlight's on. J-Dub and Shai step up. Yeah, give me Thunder.
Yeah, so Thunder in the championship, and then it's Bucks, Knicks. I kind of want to take the Knicks.
Yeah, I think you're right. Bucks just are so inconsistent. I could see them rattling off a couple of great wins, and everybody's talking about the Bucks are back after this NBA Cup. But I'm with you right now. Let's go ahead and go with the Knicks.
And Jacob Niffenterre says Caruso will be back. I assume
that's
he
a
will
good
be
point.
back soon.
Should be. Knock on wood.
Back soon. Pray for his hip. He'll be back. The Thunder have a shot. I mean, they're in the quarterfinals, and we have some more content. We have potentially a little banner going up into the rafters if they win this. That'd be fun. It'd be a fun storyline to distract us all from the fact that Chet is still hurt.
I agree.
Would love that. Anything else on the NBA Cup before we take our
we got to predict our champion. So Thunder versus the Knicks is what we have. I want to take the Thunder just based off stats alone, like in a vacuum. Shout out Nickism there. I think I want to go the Thunder, but at the same time, thinking about them rattling off 3 straight wins there against some pretty impressive competition and away from home seems like a lot.
It does.
But you know what? We're a Thunder podcast. I'm going with the Thunder.
We're a Thunder podcast, damn it. And the other team is gonna have to be doing this stuff away from home also. Like it's a
great point.
It's a to use a CFB term, like it's a neutral playing field that they'll be on. So that'll be fun. All right, let's take our first break of the night. Then we're gonna talk about a top 25 under 25 article from ESPN. Be right back. We are back. Taylor, you have this article open. The Thunder
I do.
Have a couple guys on the list, to say the least.
So I guess I'll scroll up to the top. And the purpose, I think they've done this the past 3 years now at ESPN. They get their collective together, talk about the rising, emerging young NBA stars in the league. Luka obviously is age out of contention, as has SGA and some others. Zion's still eligible. LaMelo Ball still eligible. There's some interesting names. But ultimately, I was going to see, well, they didn't really describe it. But I was listening back to the Hoops Collective podcast, Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon, and Tim Bontemps. And they kind of went through their Bontemps was the only one I think that contributed to this. But they kind of went through their selection process. I found it interesting because Bontemps kind of disagreed with some of these. Again, it's a collective effort, and they kind of rank based off the submissions sent in by their writers. But we'll go ahead and go through some of the top 10. I think that's the most relevant, obviously, to the Thunder. Like you mentioned, Thunder have 2 top 10 players. But the ranking is interesting. Number 1, Victor Wembanyama. Makes a lot of sense. Gosh dang it. I lost the article.
It'll come back. Dude,
hold on a second.
Not to be a boomer, but the ESPN app and website is so
it's awful
to navigate. It
yeah. Okay. Well, Victor was number 1. Silva, I guess I'll lead you off here. You can kind of answer, and then I'll go back and find this article. But I find it interesting that they have a player like a Victor Wembanyama number 1, which I think a lot of us would probably agree with, but they're thinking more of like upside. And then you have players, we'll get into a J-Dub, but he's a perfect example. He is at number 9 on the list. And it's almost, they're like trying to rank him more so where he's played this season. It just seems very inconsistent to me.
I have the list up on my phone. Can't get it on my laptop here for some reason.
That's what I was
I do have it
too.
Yeah, Victor's 1, which I don't have any qualms with. And you have Ant Edwards at 2, who is still only 23 years old, which is kind of wild to think about. Paolo at 3. That's that's fair, I think. Like, Paolo's awesome. I understand that. Then it's Franz Wagner at 4, who has been exceptional. Don't get me wrong. What do you think about Franz at 4? Or we can just keep going through the list and see who else he would be fighting with for spots.
Again, this is where I think we can be a little biased. I certainly understand that. Franz has been awesome. I think he's deserving really of top 5. But you compare J-Dub and Franz's stats. I think Franz maybe has like a point or 2 more points per game. The assists, the rebounds are all very similar. J-Dub has incredible defensive stats. He's playing small ball center for this team. He's doing a little bit of everything. Franz has been awesome carrying the Mavericks, carrying the Magic while Paulo was out. I don't understand why you don't apply that same logic to a player like J-Dub, who's been in similar positions due to injury, stepping up for his team, and it's been absolutely fantastic. I just don't quite get it. I could pull up the stats, but honestly, I don't mean to just completely bore our listeners. Ultimately, I'm just going to be completely honest, like trying to take my bias aside. I think if we're doing a redraft, knowing everything we know about both players right now, I think both the Thunder's front office and the Magic's front office, and Magic fans are probably going to disagree with me, and I understand why. I think both front offices picked J-Dub over Franz 10 times out of 10. And I don't understand why J-Dub's so much further behind Franz if they're ranking him at 4.
It's fun to think about. Like Franz, I guess Franz has more size. I get that. But J-Dub just does a lot more of what I personally want out of a basketball player. He plays like a more cerebral game. I think he's more adaptable as a piece. Like he can be a connector. He can be your primary scorer. He can be your secondary scorer. He can be your small ball center. He can do anything you ask him to at a given night. Much better shooter than Franz. Franz has had a good year and then 2 bad years. And then now he's kind of league average again as a shooter. Not to discredit anything he's doing now. He's been awesome this season. Like he's been like an all-star. But J-Dub has 2. J-Dub just plays in the West.
Right. I think that's spot on. And then speaking of that podcast I listened to earlier today with Bon Temps, I think it was McMahon who threw these stats out. But players who are averaging the points per game that J-Dub is on his shooting efficiency, both from 3, I believe, and from the floor in general, as well as having the defensive stats that he has. There's only 2 other players. And the 2 steals in the block. There's only 2 players in NBA history who did you listen to this?
Yeah, but I only remember one of the players.
Well, they're both very closely tied together. I'll let you rattle off one of them and guess the other.
I know him now. It's Michael Jordan is one.
And who's the other?
Is the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's absurd. Good. I don't know how you have that player at 9th. So I guess just going through the rest of the list, we mentioned Franz at 4. We've talked a lot about that. And J-Dub at 9. You have Chet at 5. We'll dive into that one at depth. Tyrese Halliburton at 6. Tyrese Maxey at 7. Evan Mobley at 8. And then J-Dub at 9. I'm taking J-Dub over Mobley. I'm taking him over Maxey. I'm taking him over Hallie for damn sure, seeing what Halliburton's done over the past season and a half or so.
I wouldn't have Halliburton. He's too inconsistent for me. He can truly disappear on some nights, I think. Makes no sense. And Maxey has kind of shown this season. I listened to a Sixers podcast, Ball. It's a really good podcast. It's league wide also. They have talked about how Maxey has not been he cannot play like a star on his own. Like he needs to play off of an Embiid, which is he's awesome. Like he's an awesome player, but he's not like a Dame Lillard type where he can just be an offense on his own. J-Dub leads the second unit all the time and looks great at it. And
takes over in the fourth quarter with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the floor. I think a lot of this is small market versus big market bias, which ESPN always has leaned into, which is very frustrating. And also just like, not sure how in depth these people have watched the Thunder in comparison to some of the other bigger markets. Right. And I just, Tyrese is awesome, but I don't understand that one at all. Same for Tyrese. Talked a lot about Tyrese. Even if J-Dub was at 6, I think that makes more sense and is more can be argued a little more from their side. But having J-Dub that low just feels kind of criminal.
Yeah, I also kind of wonder if people just like, it is hard to believe that the Thunder not only have a top 5 player, but also have 2 what I think are top 5 players under the age of 25. Like they have both of those things. As miraculous as that is, they do have both of those things. Like J-Dub and Chet are special all-star caliber, all NBA caliber at some point, I think, level players. Like Chet was on pace for that. And I think if Chet was still playing, he would be higher on this list also. He is incredible.
That's the thing. It's like Chet's ranked as high as he is because of how fantastic he was to start the season, and that injury just sucks. We're preaching to the choir here in regards to that. But I mean, like you said, he was absolutely incredible there, and I think again, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like there's no real direction. I think when they're making this list, it's kind of all split based off how different people view these players. But if we're talking about upside in general, I understand putting Paulo above Chet. Like I'm cool with that. Ant, Victor, totally cool with that. I'd put Chet probably at 4, J-Dub at 5, Franz at 6.
I probably would too. And I get that it's debatable to move those names around. But we watch these guys every night, and that's the opinion that we gain our opinion from watching these guys every single night. And they're pretty effing awesome. Other wild names on the list. I don't think Jalen Green should be on this list at all.
No.
He's at 20. He's shooting like 40% from the field this season. I think that is brutal. Tyler Hero, that's weird. Amen, I think should be higher.
Tyler Hero makes sense because he's been doing this for what feels like a long time, even though he's still very young. Yeah. I understand that. I saw Zion at 16. I get it.
I wouldn't even have him.
Still holding on to that upside, but he can't stay healthy. No. And Brandon Miller at 15. I'm a huge Brandon Miller fan. I'd have him top 10 easy. And again, maybe I'm looking at this more from like an NBA draft and NBA prospect perspective and looking at potential in these players, which is why I would rank the Thunder players higher. But Brandon Miller, for me, he's easily top 10. What he's been doing these past 2 years, I mean, he's been absolutely incredible. I'd easily have him above Darius Garland at 14. That was one that stood out to me. I'm pretty good with the rest of these, like Jalen Johnson, 17, Jalen Suggs, 18, Derek Lively, 19. I think those are all fine. Honestly, I'm fine with Jalen Green being in the 20 range. I mean, he is an incredibly explosive player. We've seen that against the Thunder. He can score at will when he's on. He's just incredibly inconsistent right now and needs to improve the rest of his game. Amen Thompson, I understand why they have him at 22, a little lower than I would probably have him, just based off opportunity. And I mean, the Rockets should be starting him and playing him so much more. I don't understand that. Amen's maybe the best athlete in the entire NBA. I'd have him much higher. They had Dyson Daniels at 23, Tari Eason at 24, Cool Ball at 25. I'm fine with those, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of good players. Shout out to the Rockets for having, I guess, 4 players on this top 25 list. Like that's good for them. You know, I don't know. Jalen Green, Derek Parker, I saw tweeted this the other day. Jalen Green is kind of their Josh Giddey this year, where he's like starting, but he's not playing that many minutes or getting that many shots, and they're better when he's on the bench. Like that's kind of is in that role, and they're probably gonna flip him for someone and then be much better. But yeah, fun list. I think you and I kind
others receiving those: Jaden Ivey, Mathurin, Trey Murphy III, Cam Thomas. Again, the bias is coming out, but I think if you have those players listed, I don't understand why players like Cason Wallace aren't getting some of those as well. Yeah. But again, I mean, some of these guys like Shai are older. They aren't going to make this. He's not going to make this list. Luka's not making this list because he's older now. I don't know.
Tatum's finally over the age of 25. I feel like he
did it.
Finally did it.
He finally aged.
Yeah. Fun list. Nick Jordan says we could draft top 25 under 25. That'd be a fun exercise to do at some point, like on a Sunday show or a Wednesday show.
Or a Patreon bonus show. We got one of those coming up.
Let's do our top 25 under 25. I think our list would look a lot different, especially if like Nick, who's heavily opinionated on some of these guys, he might have Cam Thomas at 11.
Yeah, 100%. He'd be with us on Amen too.
It'd be fun.
He'd have Amen maybe top 6.
I hate how much I like Amen Thompson.
Oh, he's awesome.
On any other team, I'd be standing the guy, but stuff. Yeah, Connor, it does feel like an off-season activity.
Definitely an off-season activity.
Yes, totally. Anything else on that, or are we good to go, Taylor, on this Wednesday night? My coffee's wearing off.
Yeah, it's about that time. I think the only thing really left, Silva, we already gave our predictions. But tomorrow night, Thunder play the Raptors at 6:30. Saturday night, they play the Pelicans at 6. Both away games on a smaller road trip in comparison to last week. before they get a couple nights off and square off against Dallas Mavericks at home for the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup.
That'll be a fun or hellish post game that we're all on.
Definitely. And I'm a little more worried, I think, about these next 2 road games, because I could see Mark just like viewing this as we have the Mavericks at home at 8:30 on Tuesday. Let's roll out DJ, Dylan Jones, and AJ Mitchell a little more and give these guys some rest. We should be beating these teams, and like these next 2 games are way closer than they should be.
That's honestly a pretty good prediction, and I will be. I mean, Jacob has tomorrow's post game, so Jacob could be breaking down a depressing one. We will see. It'd be unnecessarily complicated, but maybe it'll get a guy like Cason Wallace going in a way we haven't seen consistently this season. Always something fun to look forward to with this team. Maybe someone have a new hairstyle.
Caruso comes back, hopefully.
Comes back
with a full set of hair.
They got the hair transplant. Arm her off, put it on his
Hopefully gets a hip transplant too.
Oh my god. I don't know if I'm gonna try this sounder. I don't know if it's working. Can you hear this?
I can hear it.
That's awesome.
Which means the listener should be able to also. Vegas.
Get him a Caruso, says Connor in the chat. Absurd. Thank you guys for listening as always. Always fun hanging out in the YouTube chats. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see you in the Discord as usual. We have we're gonna be making an announcement by the end of this week on when our next Patreon exclusive show will be. Could be another mailbag, could be another themed episode like our time capsule one that we did a couple weeks ago. Be on the lookout for that though. That'd be a lot of fun. Thanks for listening one more time. See you tomorrow night. As always, thunder up and adios.